Hi there, my name is Matt Brown. I am the host of a global media platform called The Matt Brown Show, and I'm the CEO of SureWorks Media. We work with CEOs and entrepreneurs to help them scale their influence and do incredible things in the markets that they care about. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about thought leadership strategy, right? So you want to be seen as an influencer, you want to add more revenue, you want to raise more capital. And we recognize in that context that influence is the bridge to achieving many of these things that you aspire to achieve in your business. So strategy, when it comes to driving influence, is essential. Many people just don't understand what thought leadership really is. And so in this video, we're going to unpack what is influence, how do you then, as a aspiring influencer, shape opinions and that kind of cool stuff. So let's get into the meat and the potatoes of this episode. And so this is all about thought leadership strategy. And specifically, we're going to be looking at designing a content plan for greater influence. Now, before we get into the weeds here, thought leadership is largely misunderstood, right? Thought leadership or becoming an influencer is not about growth hacks and GPT-4 produced content and all that kind of stuff. It has its place, but in the context of influence, it really doesn't live or shouldn't live in this bridge of thought leadership. So to become a thought leader, you need to be creating non-obvious content, right? Just like what you're watching right now. To change opinions, get someone to take an action and all that kind of cool stuff. So that immediately what we want to know is what exactly is influence, right? So let's look at that right now. So what is influence? Influence is the ability to shape perceptions, inspire actions, and drive decision-making. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to walk you through a process that you can use right now in your business or on your thought leadership journey to create incredible content, right? So how do you know what to say? Like, who are you saying it to? And what exactly should I be communicating? And so that's what we're going to tackle now in something called the Influence Canvas. So the canvas includes 4 quadrants: perceptions from, perceptions to, decisions, and actions. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this canvas to demonstrate how to create influence-focused content to get what you want as a CEO and as an entrepreneur. So let's take a look at that now. So I'm going to use, in this example, a potential audience of mine, a CEO who's struggling with some perceptions around the world of podcasting or media platforms or becoming a thought leader. And so one of those could be that cold email doesn't work. So for instance, he's a CEO, he's an entrepreneur, and he's not getting much traction with email. And so in the context of podcasting, he just doesn't believe that email, no one will respond to his email or her email and come onto his show or her show for an interview. This one is something that I struggled with when I initially started podcasting a decade ago. I have nothing interesting to say. Nobody will listen to my podcast, and so fast forward to today and, global audience, 100 countries, and it's a legit show. So these things can and should change. So as a thought leader, if I wanted to influence this CEO and get him or her to change his or her perceptions, how would I do that? So this is what you want to then be thinking about, which is, well, I want to change these perceptions, don't I? So I want to change them from cold email doesn't work to cold email from a podcast host always works, which in most cases it does. Another one is I have nothing interesting to say, but then the perception too is, well, nobody will do a podcast like me. This, funnily enough, a small anecdote. When I first started podcasting 10 years ago, people were like, dude, there's like 1 million podcasts, bro. Like, why would you, who's going to listen to you, dude? And then obviously, no one does the Matt Brown Show like me. No one will do this video like me. And in the same way that you want to influence your market, no one will do thought leadership like you. But you need to have a plan, a strategy to execute on. And that's what we're looking at, right? So here you go. Nobody will listen to my podcast. Well, my podcast has the potential to reach a large and engaged audience. Absolutely true, right? Absolutely true. If you want to get into the influence business, the best way to do that is with a media platform and a podcast or a best-selling book. You need to be speaking regularly on stages. So let's take this a bit further, right? So now when you are clear on what perceptions you want to change, The next thing is to recognize what are the decisions you want your audience to take. How about this? I will start my podcast today. And then you want to be thinking about the actions. So work with ShoWorks Media to accelerate my CEO influence journey. So now that you're clear on your influence canvas, the perceptions that exist and how you want to change them and the decisions that you want to make, you want to get into as much of this detail as possible. Like I've keeping this really simplistic for the purposes of education and illustration. But when you get into this, you want to be really, really detailed and exhaustive on these elements. Okay, so as an example, if my audience is thinking that cold email for a podcast doesn't work, and I want them to think that cold email from a podcast host always works, what content do I want to create? Now, that content is a video that demonstrates that the desired perception, the perception 2, is a reality. It needs to be evidence-based. In the same way that you want to change the perception from nobody will do, I have nothing interesting to say to nobody will do a podcast like me, I want to demonstrate that with evidence. And then the same thing with, nobody will listen to my podcast. You want to demonstrate with evidence that my podcast has the potential to reach a large and engaged audience. This is why the influence canvas is so powerful, right? Because now I am clear in my mind strategically as a aspiring influencer and thought leader, the type of content that I want to create. And so the videos that you might do are all the 3 on the top right-hand quadrant, right? Cold email from a podcast always works. Demonstrate that. Nobody will do a podcast like me. Demonstrate that. My podcast has the potential to reach a large and engaged audience. Demonstrate that. Influence is about demonstrating, not giving an opinion. There's too much opinions out there, right? Everyone's got opinion, like assholes. So as an influencer, as an aspiring influencer, you want to be thinking about what are the perceptions that I want to change and what are the desired decisions I want my audience to take. And ultimately, what is the manifestation of that decision that I want my audience to take in terms of an action. And so that is why the influence canvas is so powerful. So if you are looking to influence your market, are you clear on the perceptions of your desired audience? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you what you think about the influence canvas. My name is Matt, signing out. I wish you all the best on your thought leadership journey.